The Vale of Eternity is a 2 to 4 player game for ages 14 and up, with an average gameplay length of 40 minutes, published by Renegade Game Studios and Mandoo Games. In the Vale of Eternity, players will act as tamers in a world of monsters, spirits, and gods. Players will take turns drafting creatures. When drafting creatures, players will determine whether to tame them by placing them in their hands, sell them in order to gain stones, or summon them by paying their stone value. All creatures have abilities to help the player. Some are instant when summoned, permanent throughout the game, or active when activated at the end of each round. The goal is to obtain the most points, and once a player passes 60 points, or you reach the 10th round, complete the round and go through the resolution phase, and the player with the most points wins. To set up the game, players will choose a color and collect 2 player markers, 1 score marker, and 1 player tile in the matching color. Then place the game board and scoreboard in the middle of the table. Place the round marker on the 1 on this track. Select the first player. This can be done at random, or it can be by the player who has most recently seen a reptile, and give them the first player marker. They will put their score marker on the 1 point spot, and going clockwise, each other player will place their score marker on the number matching their turn order. Second player on 2, third player on 3, and if a fourth player, on 4. Nearby, place the magic stones in a supply. If desired, you can separate them by value. The red 1 stones, the blue 3 stones, and the purple 6 stones. Finally, shuffle the creature deck and place it nearby. You can place the Eternity standee in the middle of the game board, but it serves no gameplay purpose. Personally, I find it easier to place the creature deck here instead. Either way, you are ready to begin. Every round will start with the hunting phase by drawing 2 creature cards per player and placing them around the player board under their matching type. Type symbols can be found in the upper left and bottom right of the creature cards, and the background color will also generally match the color of the game board. There are 5 types or families, which are fire, water, earth, wind, and dragon. Before we continue, let's look at a creature card to better understand them. Aside from their type, all creature cards also have a summon cost, which is this number next to their type symbol. In the middle of the card, you will have the creature's name, and in a text box below will be its effects. There are 3 types. Instant effects, identified by the lightning bolt. These will activate only once immediately when summoned. Permanent effects, identified by this infinity symbol. These are always active from the time the creature is summoned into play. And finally, the active effect that is identified by the hourglass, which only activates once per round during the resolution phase. Another symbol to keep an eye out for is this symbol, which has a number or a question mark, which refers to points. There will usually always be a condition, which, depending upon the effect of the card, will give you points, either instantly, permanently, or actively. Starting with the first player going clockwise, each player will place a player marker on the card they want that does not already have a player marker on it. Once all players have placed their 1 player marker, the last player will begin placing their second player marker and going counterclockwise back towards the first player, taking turns, placing their second marker on a card they want that does not already have a marker on it. Once all markers are placed, the hunting phase ends. Now for the action phase. Starting with the first player, you have 4 actions you can do in any order and as many times as you desire and are able. You can sell a card, tame a card, summon a card, or remove a card. To sell a card, you must choose one of the 2 cards you have your player marker on. Each type or family of cards has a stone value listed on the game board. Fire cards sell for 3 red stones, earth cards sell for 4 red stones, water cards sell for 1 blue stone, wind sells for 1 red stone and 1 blue stone, and dragons sell for 1 purple stone. Keep in mind, you are only able to have a total of 4 stones at any given time, no matter the value, and stones cannot be traded in for different value stones. For example, you cannot trade in 3 red stones for 1 blue stone, even though the value is the same. The next action you can do is tame a card. which lets you put a card into your hand. There is no hand limit, so this option is always available. However, once you put a card in your hand, you can no longer sell this card. Another action that can be done is summon a card. This action is dependent on the round. You can never have more creatures in your area than the round you are currently on. To summon a creature, you can first tame it by placing it in your hand, then pay its summon cost. If 0, no stones are required to summon it. If more than 0, the stone cost must be paid. Any stone can be used to summon, however, no change is given if you overpay the summon value. Once summoned, if the creature has an instant effect, you will activate it now. And the last action that can be performed, if you wish, is to remove a card from your area. This action requires the payment of stones equal to the current round. And just like summoning, no change is given if the cost was overpaid. Once all players have completed all the actions they desire, they will pass to the next player. The next player will have the same list of actions and complete their turn, and so on. Once all players have completed their turn, the resolution phase will occur. Starting with the first player and going clockwise, players will check their creature cards for the hourglass icon and activate those cards in any order they would like. If the player does not have any creatures with this active icon, they will pass to the next player. Once all players have activated their active cards, the resolution phase will end. The round marker will move up by 1. This also increases the amount of creatures that can be played in each player's area, as well as the cost to remove a card from your area. The first player will pass the first player marker to the left, and the new first player will begin the round with the hunting phase. Draw and place 2 cards per player from the creature deck and place them around the game board, and that player will then place one of their tokens and pass. The next player will place a single token, and so the last player will place 2 tokens before going back counterclockwise through the previous players and placing their second tokens on the creature cards. Then again, starting with the first player, the action phase will begin. Each player will take their 4 action options as many times as they'd like, in turn order, then move on to the resolution phase, where in turn order, players will activate any and all active cards they have in play, and finally move the round marker and pass the first player marker to the next player. Continue this way until the end of the 10th round, or when a player has gained or exceeded 60 points by the end of a round. If a player gains more than 60 points, they will flip over their player tile to the plus 60 side and continue to count points starting from 1 moving up the track. Once one of these occur, the game will end and the player with the most points wins. And if tied, the player with the most summoned creatures wins. And if still tied, players share the victory. And that is how you play the Vale of Eternity. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and ring the bell to get notified about new videos. If you're bored now, click this for more games.